What is going on, fellow nerds? Welcome to a Sounds Nerdy video again. This is the state of, and this time we're going to talk about the state of crossplay. This is a very hot topic right now in the gaming world. We've seen so much stuff on Twitter. We've seen ads on TV. So we'll dive into all of that, Charles. But it's a very exciting topic. We're going to talk about the history of crossplay, just to give you a little background on where it came from, some of the games that were prominent with it in the beginning. Then we're going to talk about the current state right now, mainly some of the issues Sony and how crossplay is going right now, and then maybe some games that are currently support crossplay and what we think about the future of crossplay. All right, without further ado, we got a lot to talk about, so let's jump right into it. First off, we're going to talk about the history of crossplay just a little bit. Microsoft actually developed their games for Windows line. This is a few years ago, back around 2007 or so. That line is now dead. It's just Windows 10 games or whatever. They released that with the game Shadowrun.
Yeah, I remember that. That was first person game?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that game.
Yeah, so that was back in 2007. So Microsoft was, was one of the earlier ones in that. But there was an earlier crossplay, at least with platform and the PC, and I'm going to get into that a little bit. Going to 2016, Microsoft publicly invited other platform holders to allow the same game to be played online across multiple platforms. And obviously they gave an invite out to Nintendo and Sony. Sony rejected that, and their response was, they have been creating cross-platform play between PC and several software titles, starting with Final Fantasy XI on the PS2. So that game actually crossed over with the PS2 and the PC. That was back in 2002. So Sony actually was one of the earlier progenitors of, cross-platform play, which is kind of ironic, once we get into the current state.
And what's funny is I think that Sony even invited Microsoft to do the same thing before Microsoft did. So there was an earlier point in which Sony said, we want cross-platform play, and Microsoft said no.
Okay.
And then in 2006, Microsoft reversed that and said, okay, we can do crossplay now. And now Sony's saying no. So there's this cat and mouse game going on right now.
Right. Yeah. And I figure some of this stuff back then were probably technical limitations between cross-platform. You had different protocols, different network protocols. But I guess with the advent of online consoles, starting with the PS3 generation, I want to say, then the Xbox 360, that has pretty much been eliminated. They're all pretty much using the same network protocol. So that is not an issue.
Yeah. I don't even know if it would have been... I know this generation, it's as easy as the developer just flipping the switch and saying, we can get all this, like they can have their own servers and we can get all this traffic in here.
Right.
We can make everybody play together. I'm not sure if it was that easy last generation.
Right, I'm not sure either. But yeah, to dive deeper into that point, Rocket League developer and the developer of Gwent said, we can get it working within a day. Yeah, it is not an issue. It's just the fact that Sony just does not want to do that. So there's nothing preventing the Arc developer, the developers who develop that game said, there is nothing preventing PS4, Xbox One crossplay.
Yeah.
Simple switch, that's it. Actually, there was actually an instance of PS4 and Xbox One crossplay for a short time in Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite.
It was a little switch.
They did that on purpose.
Right, and then that was it.
Yeah. And Sony killed it. Yeah, Sony was like, nope, shut it down.
Shut that down. So we know it's possible. We know it's there. It's just that, Sony's just refusing.
Oh, yeah. It took all the way up to Epic to show how possible it was. And I say that because people are wondering why the outcry now. I think beforehand, there was just words. People were saying, oh, it's possible. It's possible.
Right.
But then once you see it happening, like Fortnite is doing an amazing job. The phone versions, Switch, PlayStation, PC and Xbox, those can all play together. Like, I've done it. Like, it's there now. You can see it happening, and it works very well. So I think that's a lot of reason you're starting to see the outcry, because it's here now and people can see it's tangible.
Right, and the gamers are clamoring for it. The gamers want cross-platform play.
Yeah.
So there's no reason why it should not be happening. All right. So moving on to what we have going on today, and we alluded to that a little bit. Why is Sony refusing crossplay? You know, back in 2017, in the case of Minecraft, you know, so Sony is refusing cross-platform play with them because what Sony is saying is that they want to keep their PlayStation 4's players safe in returns of Minecraft.
Yeah.
That's some old bullshit.
Yeah,
Safe from what? You know, that is something I would expect from Nintendo to say.
That's
not
exactly
Sony.
something Nintendo would have said too.
Right. No offense, Nintendo, you're not saying that, but you would have done something like that.
But the thing is, and Nintendo wouldn't take offense. Well, they couldn't because they've been public about wanting to keep their people safe.
Correct.
For different reasons.
Right.
Sony, I don't know what Sony's talking about when they say they want to keep their. What does that even mean?
What does that mean? Minecraft players safe from what? I don't get that. Sony, that's bullshit.
These consoles have the same services. I see the same type of people on both platforms. There's no when you take a step back and look at both these platforms, the only difference is some of the games. That's literally the only difference I can see, and then the visuals, of course. But
right,
yeah, safe from what, Sony? Safe from what?
Right, yeah, that's bull. But so recently we actually got more insight as to why Sony is actually refusing crossplay. John Smedley, he was the former head of Sony Online Entertainment. He recently came out and said that when he was at Sony, the stated reason internally was money.
Yeah,
it was money, and he said that they didn't like someone buying something on Xbox and it being used on a PlayStation. For them, they're gonna have to figure out what's more important. Money or their reputation? Because right now,
and even then, okay, so you have this free game on your servers. Mm-hmm. People can download it on PlayStation or PlayStation.com. If that's your worry, why not charge a small tax to the games that are sitting on? Like, I'm sure they're already charging Epic something for having, you know, the game on their servers and people being able to download it and play it on the PlayStation. I'm sure that's happening. But if you're worried about the money so much, why not say, okay, if you want cross-play, we need to be getting a cut of something. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be a tax for you having this game on our servers, and it's free if you're making money off of it, like you are. And trust me, Epic is making boatloads of. Like, I just found out that the seasons, like, I bought a season, or I bought I forgot what they're called, but you can buy something and it gives you access to one season. And you only I thought you got access to all the seasons after that. Oh. It's only one season, and people are rebuying every season. People are spending $10
I didn't know that.
To buy this stuff. So they're making money. And not to say that that's a good reason to charge them more money because they're making money. I'm just saying, like, I understand the money aspect. Like, you want to be making a cut of something that somebody's selling on your platform. Right. I get it.
Right. So to give a little bit more details about how it works. So in the case of Minecraft, you have to have a Microsoft account. Mm-hmm. And if you want to play it on a Nintendo Switch, you still have to log in with that Microsoft account. Right. So what happens is if you buy anything on a Nintendo Switch platform using your Microsoft account, that money or that revenue goes back to Microsoft. So that's so that's why Sony is, you know, up in arms, because they don't want people buying stuff on their platform and they're not getting a cut because it's going back to a Microsoft account.
Yeah, I kind of wonder what the logistics of that is, because I wonder, like, even if they, like, you have an Epic account on PlayStation, and if you buy something from Fortnite, I'm assuming that it's using your Epic account. I'm not sure. I
assume, right?
But it might not, because I see the items in the store, the PlayStation Store as well. I don't know. That's kind of
but those items in the PlayStation Store might be directly from Sony. And so if you buy from the Sony store, I think you get a cut of that. I think Sony gets that cut. Or it could just be Sony put all the Epic's items in that store, and it doesn't matter. All that revenue goes back to Epic.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which way.
I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, like, just charge, like, for every download, charge a tax or something. Like, it's a free to play game, and they know they're gonna make money off of it. I'm sure whatever tax you charge them, it's not gonna be like make some sort of deal where it's not gonna be. I mean, there's ways around this. I think they're just scared, to be honest with you.
Well, they're being, yeah. Not only that, I think they're being really stubborn about this because. So yes, I understand the executives in the boardroom are worried about the money aspect of it. So we're not getting revenue from this game. Mm-hmm. Not sure how it's going to affect their bottom line. I mean, they didn't have it before this game came out, whatever. But they need to really consider how valuable it is to have that revenue, or is it less valuable for them to have their reputations take a hit? Because right now, we go on Twitter. We've had conversations on Twitter with other people out there in the Twitter world right now. They're getting blasted, on Twitter right now. Everybody with this hashtag blame Sony, they're getting blasted. People are just clowning them. You see the ads on TV now between Microsoft and Sony talking about play together, we build together, we better together. They're embracing cross-platform play. Sony's not, and it's going to get to a point where the gamer's going to make decisions. I mean, we've talked about this. When it comes down to buying a game, I may continue to buy my Last of Us and God of War on PlayStation, but if I'm gonna buy a game that's going to be multiplayer, definitely not going to buy it on the PlayStation.
I mean, to be honest with you, I was sitting down thinking about this the other day. I was like, all my multiplayer games are going to Xbox. But then I'm like, every third-party game is going to Xbox. Because I want the Xbox to have a reason to be there. Like, for me, I think all my cross-platform or multi-platform games are just going to have to go to Xbox. And that's going to be my primary, a gaming account. Right now, I have way more games on my Sony account.
Right.
But I think, and this is just if they don't do anything, all my third-party games are going to go to Xbox. And that's going to end up being my primary gaming account. And again, it goes back and forth because I have a lot of games on each of them. Mm-hmm. So I don't mind one way or another. I'll switch and buy games on another platform in a second if I don't like something you're doing. So, and right. That makes me wonder how many other people are doing that. Because if I was willing to go out and buy an Xbox One X because I wanted the best performance on my multiplayer games and my third-party games, because I'm not going to be buying them on PlayStation anymore, I wonder how many other people were willing to do that.
Right, because you're not the only one.
Yeah, and I didn't give it a second. I was like, oh shit, Sony's doing something I don't like. I better. It's not like in my head. It's not one of those things I'm doing to be rebellious per se. It's one of those things I'm doing to protect my purchases more so than anything. So yeah, I think they got a problem on their hands if more people are thinking the same way that I'm thinking and just don't want to deal with it.
Right. So, to ask the question, so on Twitter, I remember seeing some things about this as being fake outrage at this point. What are your thoughts on that?
I think people just so in my opinion, this is just my opinion, I think people protect these companies way more than they need to be protected. I love all three of these companies and PC manufacturers. But when it comes to being consumer friendly, I'm a customer first. You know what I'm saying? And I think people forget that they're a customer. I think most people on the internet are there's back and forth going on between people in regards to this. Why do you care now? Back in the day, Sony wanted crossplay and all that. And I'm like, to me, that doesn't matter because I'm looking at these as game box 1, 2, and 3 for the most part. And as long as I can play games the way that I want to on these boxes, I'm happy. Right. And when Sony did something I didn't like, I literally will call anybody out on their shit when they do something I don't like. So I think the people that are saying fake outrage are the same ones that are super Sony fans. So I don't take too much, like, and I tried to explain it to a couple of them. I'm like, but this is something that's awesome for gaming. Why wouldn't you be for it, regardless of what company?
Right. Why wouldn't you embrace that? It opens up the gaming world. I mean, I know we've talked about this before. Just imagine if I'm in Call of Duty or whatever. It would be nice to have an Xbox versus PlayStation battle. You know, or if you want to do Battle Royale, PlayStation 4 versus Xbox Battle Royale. And just have bragging rights, have tournaments. I mean, it will just involve the gaming community more. And I think it will help kind of just bring together Xbox fanboys and PlayStation fanboys.
Right.
Because it's all about the gamers, like you said.
Yeah, that literally, that's all it is to me. Like, I don't care about, I mean, I care about Sony and PlayStation as a brand, but at the end of the day, I care about the industry more.
Yes.
Than my loyalty to a specific brand.
Right.
Like, I can tell you what my favorite brand is right now, and it's Nintendo, but that doesn't mean that if Nintendo does something that's shitty, I'm not gonna say anything about it. You know what I'm saying? And these people are just trying to find a way to divert the attention away from Sony any way that they can. They'll say anything. I've seen literally them say Sony has more crossplay games right now. That doesn't matter. That's not what I'm trying to accomplish. I'm trying to accomplish getting Sony on board to play with other console manufacturers.
Correct.
That's all I want. I don't care about what they have now with PC. I don't care about the games that Xbox has being shitty or their first party games being shitty, right? I don't care. The only thing that I care about is playing my games with everybody.
Right. And that's what the gamers want. You know, we want to be able to do that. We want to have more fun. We want to have more gameplay types. We want to have bragging rights. We want to have tournaments between Xbox and PlayStation, Nintendo, PC, whatever. We want to do that. So Sony needs to get on board. I was hoping they would, you know, make an announcement at E3. That didn't happen. But
at the end of the day, here's my thoughts on it. It's shitty what Sony is doing. Yeah. But again, I'm the type of customer that's gonna, either you're doing something I like, and if you're not, somebody else is doing it, I'm gonna go to wherever the service is that I want and just leave it at that. And so if Sony, I don't know, if Sony doesn't think this is a problem right now, I think that they're just being arrogant. Yeah. Like this is the beginning PlayStation 3 era Sony. Like, they're just being arrogant.
Yeah, consumers will speak, you know, with their pocketbooks. You know, we've seen it from time to time. We've seen it happen with the Xbox, you know, one at the start of this generation. We've seen it happen with the PS3 at the start of the last generation. You're not doing something right, gamers will speak. We've seen it happen to Nintendo.
With the Wii U.
With the Wii U, right. I didn't buy a Wii U.
They all get so big-headed at one point that they just lose focus and lose track of why they became so popular. And Sony only got back good with customers because they were customer focused.
Exactly.
And now they're just doing what they want.
Right.
And to be quite honest with you, they had some of the best games at E3, but their showing at E3, I did not really care for. Like, if they would have just showed the games, I would have been okay with that. But I don't know. They've got this arrogant attitude about them right now that I just don't. I don't like it.
That hubris is kicking in with them again. Sony, they really need to understand what this could do to them as a brand. You know, sure, they could bounce back from it. They bounced back before, but you know, why would you want to give up your momentum? You know, because I think this momentum is really going to help. You know, Xbox and Nintendo. You know, they're gonna continue to do this. You know, cross-platform their games, and I'm in the store, like we said. Not PlayStation. I'm going to get it on the Xbox or the Switch or the PC, so I can play with more people. Right. So Sony needs to get their act together, and hopefully soon, if we keep putting pressure on them, that they will, cave in and forget about the money. Because as a gamer, I don't care about your bottom line. I want games. Yeah. If I'm buying more games, guess what? That leads to your bottom line. So that's important. Like they say, the customer is always right. Yeah. They may be assholes, but guess what? They're right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't. At this point, I have an Xbox One X now. I don't care what the fuck they do. They can not do it. I will continue to buy all my multi-platform games on Xbox and my crossplay games on Xbox.
Yep, same here. Same here. Yep. So just a quick thing. So the future of crossplay and future games. Right now, I only know one game that was officially announced. Blades, which is a mobile game, but they say they're going to support that across all platforms, including PlayStation if they ever get on board. So we'll see how that works, even though we already know that Epic is already being blocked from using their accounts on other ones once you add it on the PlayStation. So,
yeah, that's the biggest shitty part about this whole thing. Like
them blocking accounts.
The accounts. Just let the account one time, let it go, and if they choose to take it elsewhere, just let them take it.
Yeah. Yep. But any thoughts on the future of crossplay?
Yeah. Other than, I'm looking forward to it. Like on my Switch and Xbox One, if more games happen to come out that have crossplay, I'm definitely gonna be taking a look at them. If I just want to be where the opportunity is. I don't even necessarily know if there's gonna be any other crossplay games that I would necessarily like. I don't know.
So the games that we know for sure that I know that are across all platforms. Fortnite, we've all played. Minecraft, we've all played. Paladins, I have not played Paladins. I've heard about it. Pinball FX3, and Rocket League. Those are all the games that the big ones that are all cross-platform. There were a number of other games, but I couldn't confirm them or get more information about them. But
I think we'll get more of them because of the way that Nintendo and Xbox is pushing that right now. Like, if they continue to push that like they are, of course, companies are going to want that.
Next year, Call of Duty Battlefield, cross-platform?
I don't know if the big dogs are going to get into it.
Yeah, okay.
I just don't know.
I
think it would benefit them too.
I think it would. So I think you're right. I think you're going to see a lot of the smaller games, smaller companies keep pushing it. And I think, again, it's a copycat world. Once it's successful with these quote-unquote indie developers or whatever, smaller games, then you'll see the big boys finally jump in because they're scared to go in and do something like that. That's,
and they have the least reason to be scared.
Exactly. So, but like Battle Royale now. So Battle Royale is now coming into your big games now. So I think it will eventually happen. Maybe not next year, but definitely by 2020 or late 2019, I think we will see the big boys do cross-platform.
It makes me wonder. So the thing is with that, cross-platform would be with the big titles like Call of Duty and Battlefield. It would only have to be PC and Xbox. So I'm wondering, because the Switch doesn't,
Well, you mean PC? You mean Xbox and PlayStation 4 and PC?
Yeah, if Sony gets on board.
If Sony gets on board, right?
If Sony doesn't, I think that they don't have a big reason to do it now because their games are only on the two most powerful consoles, and one of them doesn't really care about it, right? So they're like, well, we don't really have a reason to do it now. If they started making games for a Nintendo console, I think we have a better chance of seeing. If they started making Call of Duties and Battlefield for a Nintendo console, I think we have a better chance of seeing that happen. But we'll see. We'll see. If Fortnite, I don't know. Fortnite is a technical achievement, in my opinion. If they could get that to run,
definitely. Anything else on this topic?
No, other than So I hope Sony gets it together. Again, there's only so much bothering I'm gonna do to them on the topic. Like, I'll just say forget it. I got my Xbox One X. I got my Switch. I can play with people that I want to play with. For that reason, so I'm out. Right. I hope that they get it together.
For the gamers' sake.
Yeah,
for gamers, we want this to happen. So Sony, let's make it happen.
And again, I love Sony's products. Sony was my favorite. The PlayStation 4 was my favorite gaming platform before Nintendo Switch came out. So I don't know. I hope they get it together.
All right, folks, that is all we have for this state of gaming, state of crossplay. I want to thank you again for taking the time to watch this video. If you like this video, make sure you leave us a like button and subscribe to our channel as well. And let us know what your thoughts are on crossplay. Leave the comments down in the section down below. Also, check us out on Facebook. We have a Facebook group on a Sounds Nerdy Facebook group where we talk about video games. If you want to join in on the discussion on that, make sure you seek us out on Facebook. We'll have a link down in our description as well. Again, thank you for taking your time to watch this video. I have been Jamocha. You can follow me on Twitter at SNJamocha.
And you can follow me on Twitter at CharliePinkSN.
All right, and make sure you follow Sounds Nerdy on Twitter at Sounds Nerdy. We have a lot of conversations on Twitter that do not make it into the video, so if you want to get in on that, make sure you check us out on Twitter. And until the next video, guys, stay nerdy.